Welcome back, everybody. That new camera I bought broke, and it blew up my computer. Yeah, I traded it in, and for another Samsung, the HX90, blah blah blah. There's two of them. I think the other was QX90. But anyway, so I'm back at 1280 by 720 or whatever it is, and back with the focus problems and everything else. But at least I already am used to the camera. And let's see, what have I done? Oh, so I did find another volume control. I haven't trimmed it yet. I have I only have 3 of these long ones left. They're expensive if you can find them, so I just get nervous about every time I use one. I guess I'm supposed to use them at some point. I can't hoard them for no apparent reason. But anyway, so I put everything back together. I did replace one component that I didn't replace originally, and that was this .001. It was .0015 microfarad paper cap that is so tiny on the new. Let's see, can you see that? Oh yeah, it's the wires annoying. Alright. So the new one is quite a bit smaller. And that goes from that's for the antenna. And you know, when I was new to this stuff, I sort of figured that these things wouldn't go bad if they really didn't have any voltage on them. But apparently I was wrong, because when I replaced this thing started getting much better reception. But anyway, because of the issue with the lamps, I went ahead and took out the Zener. It's not necessary, but it was a fun experiment nonetheless. The next thing I need to do is align this, so I'm going to go ahead and do another video. I just wanted to show you guys that the new volume control does work. And actually, this is a Clarostat. The one that was in it was a Philco, although it had been replaced, because if you can see here, this had to be ground down, so it was replaced at some point, but it is a Philco part. Actually, no, I didn't check on the schematic to see if it was the same part number, but I guess I could do that and do it in the second segment. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that this does work. And I actually like this volume control better. One of my big complaints about even the Philco volume controls, that's a universal. I got kind of fancy, thought I might try to use one of the Philcos with a shaft saver. It's now across the room. But the shaft was too big around, so I just went ahead and grabbed the Clarostat. Anyway, one of my big complaints, and even with these newer ones, the Fillmores that I use, is when you first turn them on, it's fine, there's no volume, but you move the thing a millimeter and it goes from nothing to, it just jumps to loud. And this one doesn't do that, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Well, I guess I'll wait for the thingy to warm up. Guess we can tell when the bulb comes on. Or gets it back up to full brightness. Alright. Rectifier's a bit slow. I can't remember from the last video. I went ahead and swapped out a couple of these tubes for some stronger tubes. Doesn't really make a difference. I don't even know why I did it, because I never threw the tubes away, but anyhow, I did. So, alright, it's warmed up.
Because of the quality of the experience.
I tell you, those CFL lights sure make noise.
People fighting with sit-ins and all that.
So anyway, this one works a little bit better. This, unlike the other, like the Philco, that turns, I guess, about 300 degrees. No. Well, about 290 degrees. Well, whatever. I'm guessing. The Claristat one here, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. The Claristat one actually does almost a complete turn, so over 300 degrees. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and I'll measure it and cut that off, and then I'm going to go ahead and align it, so I will be back. Welcome back, everyone. It's the following night, and I'm going to go ahead and align this. So I have the signal generator up at 455, which is the intermediate frequency of this radio. Even though it doesn't state anywhere on the schematic, this is a rider schematic, and it's actually missing the parts list from Nostalgia Air, which kind of sucks, but from what I could tell from the 1942 models, or excuse me, this is 1941. I had to go into, no, I did look at the 1942 models, and again, riders did not give complete instructions. However, it's a series set, and the 4125 was similar with an extra tube. So, and we've done this before. So I have the VTVM hooked up to the screen and the plate on the output tube, and connected up to the VTVM as it states in those instructions. So, and it does register. Anyhow, so I've got the radio's been warming up, the vacuum 2-volt meter's been warming up, although it's only been warming up for about half an hour. They say to the instructions in ICO say to warm it up for 3 hours, but Jiminy Christmas. I mean, this thing isn't all that accurate to begin with, so anyhow. So the radio's going. So the instructions on here were to I'll have it hooked up to the obligatory 0.1 microfarad film cap. One of these days, you know, I'm going to spend the $30 to buy a cable that's got one embedded in it, and I don't know why I'm not. I spend all this money on everything else. So, but anyway, so it's hooked up. Now the instructions on this were to make a loop, which I've already have anyway, for aligning the broadcast section. So the first order of business was to put the pointer down to, there are 4 marks on this chassis, which I've actually highlighted in using a Sharpie in the indent of the line, because it's hard to see, especially when there's light shining on it. So you can see my little black marks here and here and here above this screw, and there's one here. So the instructions are to turn the says to, in order to adjust the receiver correctly, the pointer must be adjusted to track properly with the tuning condenser. To do this, turn the tuning condenser to the maximum capacity, plates fully meshed, which it is, and with the condenser in this position, set the tuning pointer to the first small line stamped in the scale plate on the left side. So that's this one, and the pointer is stuck there. I guess I could turn this a little bit. Okay, so you can see that. Alright, and then signal generator, when adjusting the IF patterns on the high side of the signal generator, connected through a 0.1 condenser to the antenna section of the tuning condenser, which maybe you can or can't see. Well, it is. The antenna section is here, assuming it's the larger one that the antenna wire plugs in, soldered to. Would be just my luck that it'd be the one that's underneath the antenna coil, but it's not. So, alright, so that's done. So the first antenna section of the tuning Output connections to receiver. Alright, so it's plugged into the antenna section and it's grounded. Let's see, dial setting at 455. Alright, yeah, dial set 540 KC tuning, condenser closed. Control setting max, which I'll turn up in just a second as I'm going to adjust it. Adjust compensators in order 12A, 12B, 10A, and 10B. Special instructions note B. Note B says, before adjusting compensators, turn down 10B to the tight position and then adjust the compensators for maximum output in the following order: 12A, 12B, 10A, 10B. So, I've got my handy dandy adjustment, and this is set tight. Oop, I thought it was. It goes further. Okay, now it's tight. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and turn this up. I can hear things. Alright, yeah, I'm going to take off my glasses here. Alright, so let's do 12A, which is here. 12B, which is here. 10A, 10B. And I know you guys can't see that. Let me figure out, let me tilt this forward. I'll be right back. Okay, I think that'll work. It seems stable. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and this is up to maximum now, and I've got this down on low. I don't want it too high for obvious reasons. Okay, so let's do 12A here. It's in the back. God, that's loud. Okay, 12B. Wow, this thing's way off. I hope you turned your speakers down. This thing's super touchy. Alright, and then 10A. Ooh, and it gets even louder. Wow, and I have this thing up at 50 volts too. Sheesh. I'm gonna drive my neighbors nuts. Gotta love touchy coils. Adjustments, I mean. Alright. Of course, now I got this one stuck. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and, it's only been 3 minutes, so. Back, and I'll go back over it one more time. My ears are gonna be ringing after this one. And one more. Alright, I'm going to call that one done. Can't believe how off this thing was, and it was still managed to be pulling in stations, but it was way off at the far end of the scale. So, all right, let me go ahead and set this up for this one wants you to do 1600 kilocycles, then 1500 kilocycles. So it's weird because, you know, a lot of times people will do 1000 to make sure it's in the middle, and so it, I don't know. Well, we'll just follow the instructions. So I'll set this up for that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty then. Oh, I didn't finish setting this up, did I? Let's get this up to 1600. Okay. It is at cracking a safe. Alright, well, I'm not going to quibble over 0.03. Okay, so let's turn this up. Note C. Turn tuning condenser until dial pointer is on the first small line stamped on the far right plate of the chassis. It's going to be fun because which is, you can't see here. Let's pull that back a little bit. So I'm going for this line right here. Right. Now let's hope this loops business works, because you know it hadn't always worked for me before. Okay, so this thing's gonna freak out now on me. Okay. Oh, this was sitting up for a minute. Dang it. Yeah. Okay. So, now it wants me to mess with 4B. You know, it'd be nice to know if I had identified where 4B was. Assuming it's on the tuning condenser on the antenna section. Okay. Alright, and it does say far right, correct? From the right side, okay. Let's go for it. Yep. Of course, I have a station coming in. Alright, well that's not going to work out too well. Or we might go at this at a different way, but alright, hold on. Okay, well, I guess we found out where it's coming. It's it's off from the right side of the chassis. Okay. Give me just a second to adjust this here. Okay. Down to 1500. I'm not sure. Anyway. Let's just go ahead and get this done. Alright. And then I have to adjust B, which is here. Like that. Oh, wow, I broke the... It broke. Cheap ass tool. I tell you, they don't make things like they used to. I think that's about all we're gonna get. Funny thing is, you know, my broadcaster should be coming in at 1510. If you do not tell me... Oh, okay. Wow, this is touchy. Alright, you know, I'm going to leave it here for just a second. I'm going to see what happens. Go ahead. Oh, you know what? I had this wire disconnected too. Lordy. Ooh, when I turned this off, I didn't mean to do that either. Gee, it makes a lot better when I have a loop completely connected. But I think that's not as good as it's gonna get. Okay, I'm gonna test this out, so give me just a second and I'll go plug my broadcaster in. I had it unplugged because sometimes, especially if I'm using a loop, it'll pull in, and it's set at 1510, so I'll be right back.